President Trump is ramping up his efforts to accelerate AI development in the U.S. He signed an executive order yesterday launching the so-called Genesis mission. Energy Secretary Chris Wright posted this to social media, writing it will, quote, revolutionize the application of AI in science and innovation. But the president's moves to lower red tape has some parts of his own base starkly worried. Gerrit De Vynck is a tech reporter for The Washington Post and joins us now from San Francisco to talk about this. Gerrit, we appreciate you getting up super early for us to talk about this important topic. Help our viewers understand how Trump's AI policies differ from what some in his own party, some of his own supporters, want to see at a local and state level.
Ever since day one of Trump's presidency, he's been very closely aligned with the tech industry. He's been trying to get rid of any regulations on AI. He's, talked about supporting the industry, even potentially through subsidies and loan guarantees for energy products to fuel the data center that is very important for AI development. But at the same time, Americans are nervous about AI. They're hearing all sorts of things that it might take their jobs. They're nervous about how their children use the technology. And Republican politicians are realizing that the president's position might be getting a little too far away from the Republican base's position, and it could maybe come back to haunt him in upcoming elections.
And I was surprised in reading your article that some of those resisting it include Governor DeSantis of Florida, Sarah Huckabee Sanders of Arkansas, and even Senator Hawley of Missouri. We're looking at the CBS News polling on the economy. It shows Americans' views of it are falling. And that's partially because of high prices and the difficulty in getting a good high-paying job. How does AI bleed into this?
There is not necessarily strong evidence yet that AI has begun to take away jobs from people, but I think people who interact with it see that its capabilities are increasing. They say, maybe I could use this in my job. Maybe someone else could use this to do part of my job. And executives love talking about AI. Shareholders like when businesses cut costs. And the idea behind AI is that many businesses will be able to cut costs, increase productivity. And so there's tons of conversation about this. And that's really reflecting in, how people feel about the economy and also their perceptions around AI as well.
And so then how are some Republicans pushing back against the president's deregulation efforts around AI?
The president really wants the Congress to pass a law, essentially making it illegal for the states to pass their own AI laws. And over the last 18 months, we've seen dozens of attempts by the states, many of them who have passed with bipartisan support, to regulate different pieces of AI. And that federal law would ban states from doing that. And that's really what is really triggering a lot of this pushback. People say, it's a states' rights issue. States should be able to regulate AI if they want to. And the federal government has not necessarily come up with laws that would replace the state laws. And it could lead to a situation where we have very little regulation of AI at all in the United States. And a lot of politicians, both Democrats and Republicans, are sensing that that's not something that citizens want.
Fascinating angle on AI. Viewers should take a look at your articles at The Washington Post. Gerrit, thanks for joining us this morning. Appreciate your time.